Oh, Frank, where'd you... Hey Dunchbags, what's going on? It's Landon Remixes here, and I have Jeffrey Adami with me once again for the third collab review we've done this year.
Yep.
As we know, Jeffrey is not a music critic, nor does he really pretend to be one, but we have a similar taste in music in some cases, and this one is especially exciting because we're actually reviewing an electronic music project together today. We'll be talking about Uh-Oh by Tennyson.
So the way I was introduced to Tennyson was back when Vine was a thing. This metal band named Issues, this metalcore band called Issues, one of their members, they filmed a Vine where they had Tennyson's song With You in the background, and it just like changed everything. I was like, I need to know who this is, and like I got into them, and yeah, that's how I got into Tennyson.
And then strangely enough, I was introduced to Tennyson, well, mostly through this guy, because it was earlier this year, on my birthday actually, February, we went to go see Tennyson, and I had just listened to like a couple different songs of theirs that Jeffrey had showed me. And then it wasn't, I don't think, until after the show, and then I was like, wait a second, Tennyson did a collaboration with Skrillex like a number of years ago with they did like a collaborative remix of Stranger, which I had listened to. So I was technically exposed through that, but Jeffrey actually showed me more of their content, and I can definitely say I became a fan of theirs, like a legitimate fan of theirs after that show, because I was very impressed with the kind of stuff that they were doing.
They're not your average EDM artist. It's a brother and sister duo with Luke and Tess. Pretty.
See, when it comes to brother-sister duos, that's really not a thing in the EDM world, because we've seen a couple different sister duos. Obviously, there's Nervo, there's Cruella. You probably don't really listen to much of either of them. But there are a lot of like brother and brother duos. That's the primary thing. And seeing a brother-sister duo is very weird, and these guys are very young too, like our age or younger.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're younger than both of us, I'm pretty sure. It's just kind of crazy, and I know they've been musically trained in the realm of jazz and classical, it seems like, as well, apparently since they were both very young. I think one of the really interesting things that Tennyson brings to the table in terms of their live show is their percussion. Where Tess plays kind of, it feels more like a launch pad sample pad rather than like actual drums, because the sounds she's making aren't necessarily like your standard kicks. And like, I think I remembered we saw them a few weeks ago, and like some of the cymbal sounds were nothing even close to a cymbal.
Yeah.
So the kind of sounds that Tess triggers live are very, very different than most other things you'd see in kind of an electronic show of this stature. And I think that's really cool. I also really love their infusion of jazz and elements like that into their live show. I can't say I've dug like super heavily into their discography past this new EP and the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday EP and a few songs on top of that. But I really enjoy the aesthetic they bring with the live show. And honestly, I feel like they really brought forward those elements of the live show with this EP, like the same kind of energy and the same kind of vibe, which I really loved about it.
Especially with their lighting too, and just the whole vibe. Especially the reason I listen to Tennyson is because they're so much more different from what you hear. Usually like a typical EDM song has like some melody, and then it builds up to this insane drop, and like a lot of it is expected, like just like, oh, I know that this is gonna happen right now, like I know it's gonna go into the drop, but like Tennyson is just so unique in that there's like so many, like you were talking about, so many aspects of jazz, and there's a lot of like theory behind it, a lot of music theory behind it, and it's just intricate melodies, intricate rhythms, and it's just like, not only that, but it's like very technical, but it's also like, it's very like danceable songs. This might be a cliche word, but it's like vibey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, the music is very immersive, and it just takes you away to completely different places.
I mean, one thing that I thought was really, really cool about what they did with Uh-Oh is it's released through Skrillex's label, OWSLA, which I'm sure a lot of subscribers of mine are avid fans of. I generally just don't really vibe with their releases, and I was very excited to see that Tennyson was releasing an EP through Skrillex's label, just because their sound is so far out there from like a lot of things that are going up on the mainstream EDM labels. They seem to be far above like most of the Monstercat roster and OWSLA, Revealed, most of the big EDM labels. Spinnin' Records definitely by far. Despite their age, their very young age, they seem to be musically pushing things that most EDM artists are not. And I was very excited to see that, especially, like I said, they collaborated with Skrillex, and now they're going and making a full-length EP with this. I know we both, I'm not sure entirely if we had similar expectations going into this EP, but after Cry Bird came out, I'm pretty sure me and Jeffrey were neither really huge fans of that song. It took me probably 5 or 6 listens to really kind of vibe with that song, and I think a lot of it is because, like, Luke isn't necessarily a bad singer, but it's not like he's an absolutely phenomenal vocalist or anything like that. And he sings on the song, and then we get the oh, and it just kind of sounds like a very poppy kind of whoa type of thing. Because that song came out as the first single, I kind of thought, oh no, Tennyson's going to be doing more mainstream, like pop direction. And you know, when you listen to Cry Bird in the context of the entire EP, I don't think that the song is that bad, just because it's different than most of the stuff. Because this is the only song that Luke sings on. It's the only song that really has that same pop appeal. Yeah. And everything else is really solid too.
Oh yeah. At first I was kind of disappointed, but it took, just like Landon, it took a few more listens, and I was like, I can like vibe with this. Mm-hmm. What got me really into that song was they posted behind the scenes video of recording the children's choir. Did you see that?
No, I actually didn't.
Okay. Well, there's this children's choir, and they filmed the kids singing the line, oh, that part. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, what touched me is that, like, as they're doing this, you can see Luke, he's just like tearing up and getting very emotional, and like, I thought that was really cool.
I mean, I get what you're saying in regards to that. Like, even when they go and take a more pop direction, it's evident that Luke and Tess have a lot of passion for this music. No matter what direction they go in, it doesn't feel like they're trying to do it to have more mainstream appeal and things like that. They might be pulling elements from pop music and things like that, but obviously they're both very passionate about it.
So Cry Bird was released, and I was kind of disappointed, but I later got used to it. But then the actual EP released, and it completely blew my mind. I was hoping that the EP would have a similar sound to Like What, their other EP, which is phenomenal. I recommend you check it out. And it honestly held up like the same way. Like, the variety they put into the songs, and just how danceable they make them, and how filled with emotion, and just like the range of genres they can put into that EP. Like, there's a feature with Aloe Black in the second song, and at first when I heard his voice in the song, I didn't feel like it would be like a fitting voice for that type of music. But as the song went on, I was like, I can definitely feel this. At 1 minute and 48 seconds, you can hear in the background while he's singing this totally like Magic Carpet Ride orchestral theme music, and then it just goes right back into like the chill jazzy EDM part. I really like that.
That song actually, it falls somewhere in the, if I had to rank this EP, it would fall somewhere in the middle for me, because I think the instrumental is absolutely fantastic. Like, probably my top first or second favorite instrumental that this EP has to offer. The problem that I really had with this song was kind of with Aloe Black's vocals. Sometimes it sits kind of awkwardly on the top in the mix. And there are moments that he seems like he's not super passionate about what he's singing, like he was just assigned to have a top line on this song. But there are other moments that he does seem super passionate about the vocals he's doing. So it does fall somewhere kind of in the middle for me, but I really did love that instrumental.
Yeah, right off the bat, the first song, Uh-Oh, it just takes you away, and I love the different samples they use, like, to just keep you immersed. And like, there's even the sample with like the Mac turning down the volume.
I remember that was one of the things I really liked about this EP, and kind of what I was getting at earlier with like Tess's live drum thing, is that they incorporate those elements really well, like how they use all those live samples and everything into the EP. You've got I specifically remember like the sound of like a police whistle, and just other things, like other kind of plinky, like the little half a second sample in that song that it's just like, uh-oh. This entire EP is named after like a half second sample from this song. It's crazy. And then they put out this entire like super wacky vibe with the EP. With the artwork and everything, like it's all just so strange, but it works together in a way that shows off their musical abilities and their passion for music. And one of the things I really loved about the Uh-Oh track is how it kind of starts off with like a really ambient feel. It feels like an intro, definitely, and then they get into the more complex rhythms and things like that, and it ends up turning into one of my favorite tracks.
I really liked the transition from Your Face Tastes Like My Happy Place to Pancake Feet. It's just like, you've got this song that's really quiet and just these little things appear out of nowhere. But then it switches into Pancake Feet, and oh my gosh, I love that song.
It's my favorite track on the EP. Are you on that page as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's, for one, it's the most like jazz influenced track. It's got like the most complex rhythms. All around, I feel like they switch back and forth like a lot between a few different sounds, and it's just really cool. There's a lot of like complex chords and things like that. Probably my favorite thing though is the rhythm shifts, how they kind of switch between like your like kind of EDM sounds to like the more jazz influence rhythms. And I absolutely love this song. I honestly think this and Your Face Tastes Like My Happy Place should have just been in one package. I feel like it was kind of weird to separate them out just because I don't feel like they were intended to ever be like separate songs. So it feels less like a transition to me and more just like Your Face Tastes Like My Happy Place is just kind of the intro of this song.
I just love how they can take one song, Pancake Feet, and make it start like all poppy and dancey. And then they put like a salsa vibe in it.
Yeah.
And like the different chord progressions they put in that, and then like there's this intense build up to like a chilled jazzy like just like it's insane, like their musicianship.
It doesn't even need like any vocals or anything like that to be a fantastic track. I wanted to mention to you guys who might have not heard of Tennyson before, if you're really into artists like Sean Wasabi, maybe like Grant Bowtie Grant, just artists who are working on like the kind of complex, kind of cutesy future-based music, I think you're really gonna like this EP. I thought this EP personally was fantastic. It's probably in my like top 3 favorite EPs of this year. One thing I did want to mention is how with a lot of different future bass artists, when they put out EPs and albums, and you can keep looking through your notes or whatever, that's perfectly fine. People tend to not know how to variate a lot, especially artists like the Chainsmokers. When they try out future bass, they end up just kind of recycling the same kind of stuff. Tennyson, while they kind of do emulate, like I said, their live show aspect and songs that they've done in the past on their past projects, this EP still manages to make everything sound distinct and unique from the rest of their discography without sounding like, oh, this is a total, like, them trying to make another one of these. Like, they never feel like they're trying to do that at any place on this EP, and that's a big reason why I like it. It has a lot of stylistic diversity. You get your future bass, your kind of R&B sounds. Obviously the jazz, like the new jazz kind of sounds too, and their ability to kind of spread that out is just amazing to me.
And in turn, it can bring a lot of different people who like different styles of music to their band. I think this EP is gonna age well. You know, like as in like it's not just like listen to it once and done. You're gonna find some tracks you really love and just keep on listening to it over and over. And it's like only 18 minutes, so if you don't have enough time to like listen to it, I mean, if you don't have enough time like to listen to a full album, just go to Uh-Oh.
I think I listened to this EP like 5 times in a row last night while I was at work, and it took me a little while to register how much I actually really loved this EP, because I kind of listened through it the first time. I was thinking, like, yeah, this is a pretty good EP. Like I said, I did have a couple issues with like Aloe's vocals, everything. The song Pegasus.exe, I think it kind of overuses the note F sharp a little bit, and that's what I was just testing just then. A lot of the chords, like instead of having a lot of variants and things like that, where most of the songs seem to have those interesting jazz chords and everything, this one's a little less diverse in that aspect. I get really tired of F sharp for whatever reason. Things like that really got under my skin a little bit, but I didn't like go through this and think, wow, like this is an actually amazing EP until it was on my like second or third listen. I was like, this EP is actually near flawless. Like I didn't expect it to like it as much as I did, especially leading up with that much more poppy single. But even Cry Bird seems to serve the purpose of making this a more diverse EP. I kind of wish they wouldn't have dropped it as a single because I probably would have liked it more. But yeah, this EP is just nuts. These two kids, these two pretty kids, are so insanely talented, and I would definitely suggest you guys check this one out. This is probably my favorite. This might be my favorite release that Skrillex has ever done on his label, maybe since Porter Robinson's Spitfire, and that was like 6 years ago. So I think very highly of this EP.
Yeah. On my Boom Shakalaka scale from 0 to 10, 0 being you can't force me to listen to this, I won't do it, hate it, get it out of my face, and 10 being this is the only music I'm going to listen to forever. I give it a 9.
Yeah, I'm actually feeling like I was kind of thinking through what I wanted to rate this. I was thinking like a strong 8.5 or a light 9 for me. I couldn't quite reach like the 9.5, 10 category.
Yeah.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Thank you for watching, and Jeffrey is here, so you should check out his band, The Exhibit. I will be linking them in the end card as always, and we hope you
hold on first. One thing
we hope our face tastes like your happy place.
Yes, that too.
And
like Landon said, you can follow my band, The Exhibit. He's going to link them in the description. We make bad music. Also, if you wouldn't mind linking me in the description, because I have a drum cover. I play drums. I have a drum cover series that's coming out pretty soon, and I'm really excited about it, so if you want to check that out.
Absolutely. I will be linking you in the end card. Anyway, we hope you guys enjoyed this dabtacular review. Yeah, check out this Tennyson EP, and have a fantastic day. We'll catch you later.
See you, dunch bags.